So, yeah, guys, you were asking about architecture explanation. So, I'm thinking to make a small video for you all. So, some of you are like asking me what basically WDS, ideas, and binding policy. Mostly, they have a problem with the binding policy. So, the WDS one or ideas you see as like if you do CubeCDX. These are basically you can take as context. Basically, they are context. So if you do cd, you go to the home.cube, and if you can do s and that config, that's one of the most important one. That's a cube config file. If you do code config, you can go to your VS Code, and if you search for the WDS one, so so where it is, so you can see that's a context. And so yeah, so it is a context. So basically is something like the context is the relation between your cluster, that's a WDS1 cluster, and the user, which is WDS admin. And similar goes with the ITS1 also. And the binding policy is but something like again, oh yeah, uh, if you look at your WDS and you deploy something like a deployment, I mean you deploy some workload deployment, you will not gonna to see any pods running in a WDS. You will not see the pods. You will be only see the pods into your deployed workload, or we say in a Kubestellar, it's a WEC, that's a workload execution cluster. We see these pods running into your deployed workloads. Okay, so who helps them to get deployed to your deployed workload? Binding policy. So binding policy is basically make a connection between your cluster, that's something like a cluster 1 or cluster 2, which is basically gets approval, or we say certificate signing request by the ITS. So it get approval everything. So you can see here it is. So these are the steps which ITS did for approval and CSR for your cluster. And then you create a workload here and the binding policy for that cluster and the workload. And after doing this, you will going to see this into this remote cluster tree, I mean the deployed workload. It's C. So we have a cluster 1 and cluster 2 that's are running into our pod. I mean that's running in our Docker. Uh, and let's create some workload from here. So this is one example. I'm going to create that. Okay. Let's wait for some time. Okay, so we can see the, but you cannot see the pods. I can verify you this too. If you did kubectx wds1, and you can kubectl get deployment, you can, oh sorry, that's something like qms, it's a test. So if you see kubectl deployment, you can see that's a deployment is the, if you do kubectl get pods, we will not see the pods in it. Okay, let's create a binding policy for it. Here you can select your cluster 1 and or a cluster 2. We usually do this by a label. We are still working on it to manage properly, and let us look for the deployment. Yeah, so this is the deployment, and you can do deploy your binding policy. Let's refresh. let's wait for, I don't know why it's coming network error. Okay, you can see cluster 1, this, and then your deployment, your replica set, and your pods. Okay, let's kubectx cluster 1 kubectq minus, I don't know why it's okay, I'm not running the Redis, that's why. So let's go to our namespace test something, right? And if we do kubectl get deployment, we'll see that deployment here. Like you can see, we did this into a WDS1, but we are getting this into a cluster 1 because we have created a binding policy for it which connects your cluster 1 and your workload that's in the WDS. Here's your WDS1 kubectl get pods. Oh, sorry. Pods. So you can see the pods right here. Yeah, now we can see this works fine. Okay, let's create some helm by helm. You can create from a file, like you can upload it. Let me see somewhere if we have some file. I'm not sure where it's okay, yeah, so it is inside our multiple resources with the namespaces, I think. Okay, let's move on for this. You can also create it from GitHub. I used to do from helm, from the popular one. Let's do for Drupal. Yeah, so it takes a bit of time to create it. Let's wait. I highly recommend you also to set up your Argo CD and do some, like, it will be very similar to what we have in our Kubestellar. So go through this blog. Please read this one, not the whole, but you can read this one, and you can also, like, if you are having any installation problem, you can just run this command, this one, and it will create everything, your cluster 1, cluster 2, WDS1, IDS, everything. But I will recommend you to go step by step, and you can get more understanding from it. And then this is the one of the most important thing you can do after the installation. So you can just paste this and then start doing the example scenario. It will be give you more clarity about how the binding policy are, and yeah, so we can explore that, can explore the step-by-step installation, and then if you did this too, and then you can explore the Argo CD, which is a bit similar what we have. So you can see Drupal Helm is deployed here in our WDS. So let's create a binding policy for it. So yeah, let's do in a cluster 2. Let's wait for to fetch the label. So I'm seeing anything, yeah. Just wait 1 second to complete this one. There might be some more resources which is linked to it, like you can see now there's persistent volume claims, name is business config, deployment is all. So let's create. Okay, yeah, why the getting network error. I think I need to check it. It will take a bit of time to solve. QCD cluster. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, you can see it now. That's Drupal. There is a deployment. Okay. There's a deployment. We can hover on to see this. It's basically giving you the color of having the similar level. Okay, you can see. I don't know why getting a problem, but that's yeah. So you can see the logs and the axes, these all things. So I think you will be get more understand. I think you will get a more understanding now with it. If you get some problem, just drop a message on a chat. Me or my Andy sir will respond you with